to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
You are now entering the Sports Strip Podcast. Brought to you by JCA Sports. Jose and Enrique Contreras.
Yes. Hello. Welcome to the Sports Drip Live podcast. Alongside my brother, Enrique Contreras. My name is Jose Contreras, guys, and welcome to the Sports Drip Podcast, Sports Drip Live. We are back. Ricky, we are back. Off of what? A week or two hiatus? A week or two hiatus. We haven't been on for a week or two, but we're back and a lot to discuss, man. A lot.
Yeah, a whole lot to discuss, and it's good. It's great to be back. I think it's been about a week.
Yeah, it's been about a week, and yeah, man, let's get right to it because it's we might as well, right? Let's talk about UFC, Rick. Let's get into UFC Fight Night. This was what, like a week or two ago, the Amanda Lemos versus Jessica Andrade fight. That main event.
It was this past week, yeah. It was this past weekend.
Past weekend. It was a good fight. We got to see the first time ever standing submission, standing triangle choke, right?
Standing arm triangle, yeah. First in the UFC.
Yeah, just like we welcome ourselves back here live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. Welcome back to strawweight division. Jessica Andrade. Andrade submitted Amanda Lemos via standing arm triangle choke just 3 minutes and 13 seconds into the UFC Fight Night main event Saturday at Las Vegas. Ricky, take us into that fight, man. What did you see? Why was Jessica Andrade able to submit Lemos in that fashion?
Well, first of all, Lemos was doing pretty good actually in the beginning of the fight. She was landing some nice hard kicks that was pretty much giving Andrade a lot of problems. Yeah, and it was and it's like I was saying to myself too when I was watching the fight, like Jessica Andrade is a lot better when she's blitzing her opponent. Of course, she has to be careful with who she's in there with too. She doesn't want to get caught while coming in. Yep. But it's that blitzing and it's that power that she possesses. And I wasn't expecting a submission victory. I thought she was going to go in there and she was going to try to knock her head off. Yep. But once she got in there and she locked in that standing arm triangle, which is the first in UFC history. Once it was in, that was it. I mean, it was a lock. That was it for Amanda Lemos, and she got the submission. Yeah, she did. It was
Andrade's first appearance at 115 pounds since July 2020. The former strawweight champion Ricky left the division following a split decision loss to current champ Rose Namajunas, and she moved up to 125 pounds and performed well, compiling a 2-1 record. Her only loss came in a title fight against dominant champion Valentina Shevchenko. Although she was successful at flyweight, Andrade has said strawweight is her ideal weight. She will likely need to at least win one more, I think, Ricky, in order for her to be, vying for a title again. But what do you think is next for Andrade?
I think what's going to be next for her is the winner of the Zhang Weili Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight. Whoever wins that fight, I think that's her likely opponent. Whoever wins that fight, and then the winner of that. I mean, depending on how Rose Namajunas does against Carla Esparza, I mean, we can end up seeing a third fight between those two. Yeah, only time will tell.
We definitely can. As far as Lemos goes, Amanda Lemos, what happened here? Why what what does she go from here? Like, how does she regain her confidence after against Andrade?
I mean, yeah, she's gonna have to go back and try to work on some submission defenses, and just go back to the drawing board. Really, I mean, it all depends on who the UFC gives to her next. But it's like I said, she was doing pretty good in the beginning of the fight. She had some really crisp striking. She was getting some good leg kicks. So I mean, nothing really wrong with what she did. She just once Andrade got a hold of her, she got a hold of her, that was it, man, and she submitted her. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with her next.
No, absolutely. You listen to Sports Drip Live podcast, guys, alongside my brother Enrique. My name is Jose Contreras. We went over UFC Amanda Lemos versus Jessica Andrade. And Jessica Andrade wins the fight. She's first ever standing triangle choke.
Yeah, standing arm triangle. Usually it's performed on the ground. Right. But doing it standing. I mean, I never seen it done standing up. So
me either. How did you do it? Like, let's make this our submission of the week. How was she able to perform a standing triangle choke, one we've never seen before in the UFC or MMA?
Right. I mean, it's just you just got to get a lock from under one of the left or right arm, and then with the other arm, put the pressure onto the neck, and then just squeeze. Usually, it's done on the ground. We've seen Brock Lesnar do it against Shane Carwin in that incredible fight that they had when he was overcoming adversity. Yeah. So once you just got to put in the arm like right under the left or right arm, depending on what side you're on. And then with the other one, basically just squeeze, and then just choke. And then if they don't tap out, they'll just go to sleep right there on the mat.
Go to sleep on the mat. Have you ever been?
But it takes. I've never been in that one, but it does take a lot of strength to do it too, especially doing it standing up.
I was going to say that the amount of pressure that you have to try to put on your opponent standing up, it has to be crazy.
Yeah, and it's just like we've been saying about Jessica Andrade. She has a lot of power. Not just in her strikes, but apparently she's a very powerful woman for being 5'1", 5'2", however tall she is.
Yeah,
very very strong.
She looks strong, absolutely. Moving on, Ricky. Let's go. Let's talk a little bit about UFC. What was it? UFC Fight Night this Saturday. Ralph Font versus Marlon Vera should be a really good fight. It's the main event. Who do you see taking this one and why?
I think I got Marlon Chito Vera on this one. I mean, his striking, the dude is relentless when he's in there. Ralph Font is also pretty good in the striking. He has some pretty heavy hands too as well, but I think Vera has the advantage as far as the striking, the power. Yeah. And if he's not able to knock him out, he's still able to in there to, make it a war. So I see him winning by decision. He'll be pretty dominant in the striking, I predict. I think he'll get the better of the exchanges, and I think he'll win by decision.
Yeah, should be a really good fight. I agree with you. I agree with you a little bit, right? This is the bantamweight division. This is the bantamweight fight between these two guys, each looking to separate themselves from the pack, and they have a chance to do They have a chance to do so this Saturday night. Font, surging towards a title shot. Ricky, he's right now currently I think ranked 6. He defeated former champion Cody Granite. He defeated Marlon Morales. But he's on a 4-fight winning streak, or he was, and he lost to Jose Aldo. What do you think this win, if he does win, will propel him for a title shot in the bantamweight division?
We'll see, man. He has some stiff competition up there. So, but a dominant win at that, if he can win dominantly, it'll definitely put him in the conversation for sure. So it all depends on what he does in this fight.
Yeah.
I remember when he knocked out Frankie Edgar with that front. I'm talking about Marlon Vera. Yeah. When he knocked Frankie Edgar with that front leg kick. I mean, if he can do another performance like that, somewhere similar to that, he'll shoot right up, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you win like that, you're definitely going to be the favorite to probably get a next title shot, or at least one more fight to get there, at least.
Yeah, no, talking about the 10th ranked Vera, he's coming off a big victory, as you just said, Ricky, 3rd-round knockout over former lightweight champ Frankie Edgar, and he has won 8 of his last 10. The guy's on the up and up for sure. I agree with you 100%. If he can win this fight, then definitely he's in the top 5, maybe next in line for a title shot. But okay, so what does Vera have to do in order to ensure a successful win here?
Vera or Font? Did you say Vera? Did you say Vera?
Vera. No, yeah.
Oh yeah, like it's just like I said, he needs to put in a nice dominant performance. If he can get the knockout, just like how he did to Frankie Edgar, I mean that'll definitely put him up there. Or if he wins, a decision like I'm predicting that he does, and if he wins it very dominantly, I mean that's all you need to do, man. You just got to impress the boss, and he's gonna do some things for you. He'll put you in contention for sure.
Yeah, looking on the other side, Ricky Font is 19-5. How does he? What keys do you want to see from him in order for him to win?
The same thing, man. He needs to be there. He needs to stay in the pocket, try to land some good shots against Marlon Vera, and if he can get the decision win himself, his record hasn't been the best lately. He hasn't been, but he could be on the up and up if he wins this fight for sure.
Yeah,
against a prospect like Vera, against a guy like Vera.
Yeah, this fight's this Saturday night on ESPN. It should be really good, man. It's at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. We're gonna see which guy will come out. But I honestly agreed. I think whoever wins this fight is slated for at least the next title shot. I mean, this is a top 10 matchup between these two guys. So, I mean, should be a good fight. Should definitely be a good fight. Let's get on to some Bellator, Ricky. Bellator 277 happened a couple weeks back, and man, what a surprise, right?
Yeah.
Patricio Freire has evened things up in Bellator 277 main event. He defeated AJ McKee, undefeated. No longer, Ricky. No longer. AJ McKee is now 18-1 after losing via unanimous decision to Patricio Freire, who once again becomes the featherweight champion. Wow. Watching this fight, I was surprised. I was shocked. You see why they went back to another fight between these two guys. The first one, AJ McKee was pretty dominant. This time around, Pitbull was dominant. Why though, Ricky? Why was he so dominant? Why did he pick up a win here against AJ McKee?
Man, it confused me a little bit because I was expecting McKee to actually, win this fight, maybe even win dominantly.
Right.
But I also expected Pitbull to come in a little bit more prepared, more cautious, because I believe that McKee was the better striker of the two. And I don't know, man, something was off about AJ McKee in this fight to me, because it didn't look like he had the hunger. He didn't look like he had the motivation to try to win this fight. I don't know if the $1 million Grand Prix got to him, the money, all that, being undefeated and all the everything that comes with it. I don't know if that got to him. I don't know if he took this fight lightly. I don't know if he prepared enough, but I didn't. I was a little surprised by his performance that he didn't do enough. But Patricio Pitbull, for sure won this fight. He did enough. He landed the more significant strikes. There was some wrestling there.
Yep.
And yeah, it was definitely a surprise.
Yep. Unanimous decision. The judges scored 48-46, 49-46, and 48-47 in favor of Pitbull. Patricio Freire, Ricky. First round was closely contested with both striking. They were striking predominantly in that round. They both, techniques were on display. Pitbull utilized his leg kicks. McKee fired some head kicks himself. Round two was a much stronger one from Pitbull, as his counter timing on McKee's head kicks and body kicks appeared to be down to a science. The guy was technically, defensively in sync when it came to blocking those head kicks. And then in round three, it was all Fury, man. It was all, he rocked McKee. McKee was wobbled. He scored a takedown. Even his signature guillotine choke. You name it, it was it. I mean, Pitbull was in that fight and he won, man. And kudos to him. It's almost like the Aljamain Sterling Piotr Jan fight that we just saw, in the last UFC pay-per-view. You get another crack at these guys, right? At these champions, and anything can happen. You learn from your last fight. That's why, and when it comes to fighting, they always say, a loss is never really failure, right? The L stands for loss, stands for learning. You learn what happens in that last fight. You come back, and then you apply that pressure. You apply what you learned, and you come out a victor. And that's exactly what Pitbull did here. Do you see another rematch? Do you see a third fight between these two guys after this one, to even the score, or what?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, at first, Scott Coker, the president of Bellator, he was not on board with it, but I guess now he's changed his mind. He said he wouldn't mind doing it. I mean, I'm a little 50-50 on seeing another fight between these two, but I think it should happen because they are 1-1 apiece. And, you know, AJ McKee has talked about moving up in weight, maybe.
Yeah.
Patricio Pitbull, he does have you know, other contenders in line if this fight doesn't happen. So if it doesn't happen right away, that's fine. But it could happen, and you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because the interesting thing about Pitbull too is that he's always been victorious in rematches. He's never lost. He's never lost when, you know, if he gets beat the first time, and then when they do the rematch, he's always won the rematch.
I was just gonna say he never lost a back-to-back fights in his career. That's how great. That's how good his guy is. Pitbull, he's never lost back-to-back fights. So yeah, it's marks the third time he won the featherweight title and the 10th time he won a Bellator title fight. Guy's amazing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So if it does happen, I don't see it happening right away. I think, you know, there's Adam Borix who just won his last fight, you know, a couple months back.
Yeah,
he's next. He could be next in line against Pitbull. For AJ McKee, we'll see what he does, man. Either he moves up in weight or he'll wait to fight Pitbull again. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. Bellator 278, Ricky, in the books. But a lot of people think it's a controversial win. Juliana Vasquez definitely thinks it was controversial. She wants a rematch, and and the result of her fight against Liz Camacho to be overturned. Velasquez was defending her flyweight championship against the former number one contender in Camacho on Friday night. The ex-champion was doing well until she was taken down in the fourth round by the challenger, who immediately got into a top crucifix position and dropped elbows. Referee Mike Beltran saw Velasquez could not defend herself and stopped the fight, much to the disdain of the Brazilian and her team. Fan and pundits, Ricky, are in agreement that the stoppage seems fairly early. Velasquez concurred and expressed as much in her first post-fight comments since the controversial ending. What did you see here? Do you think it was a controversy, or did Camacho win? Fairly.
This definitely was a controversy, man. I disagreed with the early stoppage. I think the ref should have gave Velasquez a little bit more time to see if she can actually get out.
Yeah,
you know, because she was in a tight crucifix. She was getting hit, but he stopped it a little prematurely for me. And, you know, Liz Carmouche, she did well too, but I had Juliana Velasquez winning this fight so far up until that point. And this is a bad stoppage. I didn't agree with that at all.
Do you think there should be a rematch, or do you think
I expect that to happen next. I expect an immediate rematch because of the controversy and the way it ended. So yeah, don't be surprised. We'll be seeing this match. We'll be seeing this fight again pretty soon.
Carmouche explains she has no interest in a second fight with Velasquez. But I don't think they're gonna.
No. She can say what she wants, but this fight's gonna happen. I fully expect it to happen again.
Yeah, she said I don't really care. I get kind of bored with rematches. I like to see something different and kind of change it up. It might be her ducking it because she knew that she got away with them there for sure. Yeah,
and then that was bad, man. Juliana Velasquez was undefeated. You know, she had one title defense up until this point, and you know she was winning that fight up until she got caught down there. So
yeah,
you know, I believe I fully expect an immediate rematch happening for sure.
Absolutely. UFC 279 just happened. It's in the books, Ricky. Chris Cyborg outpoints Arlene Blancal to retain her title in a rematch. Cyborg got a bit more of a fight out of her opponent in the rematch as the two went to the distance in Hawaii in Bellator 279, but she's still the Bellator women's featherweight champion. Cyborg largely dominated an extremely durable Arlene Blancal over the course of 25 minutes at Bellator 279 in Honolulu, Hawaii, but it wasn't without a bit of drama. Ricky, what did you see in this fight?
Yeah, it was pretty dominant on Cyborg's part, man. She was landing. I mean, she knocked Blanco down with a shot. She was landing the more significant strikes. It was blood. Blanco was still hung in there, man. She was in there. She was in her face. It wasn't like the first fight they had, you know, where Cyborg submitted her, ended the fight early. She was in there the entire time, and she was, you know, just giving it back to Cyborg. It stood there. Cyborg was not able to put her away this time.
Yep. She wasn't able to put her away this time, but It was still pretty good. The first round played out much like a replay of the 2020 clash between the two women, which Cyborg won by rear naked choke in the second round after hurting Blanco on the feet. Cyborg took the challenger down and looked to take back and sink a choke once again. The submission in the first fight was Cyborg's long career submission victory, but a tactical error from the champion held Blanco off the hook, with Cyborg throwing a knee to the head while Blanco was technically a downed opponent. Tough fight.
Yeah. I mean, that was just a point taken away, but nonetheless, she dominated that fight pretty much. So it ended up not mattering at the end anyway.
Yeah, she won via unanimous decision 49-45, 49-45, 49-45. So clean sweep all across the board by all three judges. What's next for the champion, Chris Cyborg?
Man, I'm wondering the same thing too, man. She's been steamrolling through all these ladies in this division ever since she came to Bellator. Remember that her only loss in a while now has been to Amanda Nunes when she was in the UFC.
Yep.
When she got destroyed by Amanda Nunes.
Yep.
And then, ever since then, I think she won one more fight in the UFC, came to Bellator, and just been steamrolling these ladies. So, I mean, it's whoever's next for her, man. We'll see what Bellator does. But she's been pretty dominant.
Dominant champion.
Pretty dominant.
Yep, dominant champion. Ricky Arlene Blanco. Tough loss for her this time around against the champ. How does she regain that confidence and go back up to the rankings?
Just with another win with whatever Bellator does. I mean, she has talked about. I've seen some interviews where she has talked about, possibly retiring pretty soon. So, because she is in her early 40s. So we'll see what she does now, man. But she was in there and she gave a good fight to Cyborg. So hopefully this isn't it for her.
Yeah. All right. Co-main event of that same card, Ricky Rufan Stotts defeated Juan Archuleta via third round knockout. What did you see here? It was a pretty crazy knockout.
Yeah, pretty good fight too, man. I mean, Archuleta had to fill in for Sergio Pettis because Pettis got hurt. So This was basically for the interim title. And this is the middle of the Bantamweight Grand Prix. So exciting fight. Rafael Stotts was in there. He caught him in there with a I believe it was an elbow or a knee.
Yeah,
finished him in the body. Yeah, and then finished him and then won the interim championship. So
actually, it was head kick and punches.
It was a head kick and punches. Yeah, there we go. Head kick and punches. Finished him in the bottom, and then that was it, man. It's basically setting him up for the next match we're about to talk about.
Yep, the next match we're talking about. Exactly. Go ahead, Ricky. You're already winning. What's next? What's next for Mr. Rafael Stotts?
It could be against Patchy Mix, depending on because we were, I don't know if we haven't got to it yet. Where Patchy Mix versus Horiguchi.
Yep.
Who finished him with via unanimous decision. So it could be against them, depending on what happens with the rest of the Grand Prix, because we still have Magomed Magomedov. He has a fight coming up, I believe, in the next card. So we'll see what happens.
Yep,
the Grand Prix is looking pretty interesting.
It really is. As you mentioned, Patchy Mix did defeat Horiguchi via unanimous decision, 48-47, all across the board, unanimous. What did you see in this fight?
Well, Patchy Mix has been known for the rear naked choke. Like pretty much when he gets your back, it's basically a lock that he's going to submit you. But he was against Horiguchi, who was very good defense, and is always moving around. So he was not actually able to get him.
Right.
But he like in the first and the second round, he was able to actually get his back and basically hold him. They're trying to get the rear naked choke, was unable to get it. And then he was just landing some good shots. Finished. I mean, he pretty much dominated this fight, even though he did struggle trying to put him away.
Yeah.
So pretty good fight in itself as well.
If there was a match between Stotts and Mix, Ricky, who would you have?
I would have to say possibly Stotts.
Why?
I think he has more power in his strikes. I think he's more explosive, and I think he could catch Patchy Mix, but if he's unable to do that, if Patchy Mix does get his back, I mean he has a high submission rate when it comes to the rear naked choke. So if he's able to catch Stotts' back, it could be over with.
Yep.
So for Stotts to win that fight, I'm predicting him. He has to be explosive. He has to be first. He has to be quick. Use his quickness and then try to land a good shot to try to possibly put him out, and not let him get his back. So I got an early prediction. I got Stotts winning that.
How about an even earlier prediction? Who wins this Grand Prix?
I think Stotts wins it. and then and I think Stotts win it, and then it could set up a fight between him and Sergio Perez when Perez is ready to come back.
Yeah,
for the unification.
Be a good fight. Be a good fight. Bellator is they have some talent, man. They have some talented fighters. Do not sleep on Bellator. Justine Keesh defeated. I can't even say it. It's McFarlane. Via unanimous decision 37.
Alima Leigh McFarlane.
Yeah, Alima Leigh. You said better than I. Alima Leigh McFarlane. What a name. What a touch name. Defeated unanimous decision. What happened here?
Well, she was coming off a long layoff as far as McFarlane, and she was in her hometown of Hawaii. She had the grand entrance. She had the crowd behind her, but she had knee surgery, and this was her first fight back in about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So you factor in ring rust and then possibly the damage that her leg took. She didn't look the same. She didn't look like the same fighter that she was. So I would have to say that probably contributed to her loss, but we wouldn't know for sure until she fights again to see, how much damage she really took in that, during, in the leg and the knee surgery, how much it affected her. So, Justine Keesh, she took advantage. She took full advantage. She didn't let the crowd get to her. She was there. She was comfortable, and she won the fight.
Yeah, she definitely did. Did you listen to the Sports Drip Live podcast alongside my brother Enrique Contreras? My name is Jose Contreras. You guys, you can listen and catch all our episodes on Spotify and on Anchor. We go live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. here on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. You can jump in the comments if you guys want to talk UFC, Bellator, WWE, AEW, even boxing, and that's where we're going to go next, Ricky. We're going to get into the boxing world as Tyson Fury defeated Dylan White in a 6-round knockout at Wembley Stadium. Tyson Fury defended his WBC heavyweight championship on Saturday, defeating Dylan White 6-round knockout in front of 94,000 screaming fans at the Wembley Stadium in London. Wow, what a fight. What a dominant fight from Fury. Ricky, he landed a brutal right uppercut and followed with a shove that sent White immediately to the mat before the referee stopped it to end it early. Fury improved to now 31-0-1 and handed White, who's now 28-3, his first loss since a knockout defeat to Alexander Povechkin in August of 2020. What a fight. What did you see here?
Yeah, I saw basically what I expected to see, man. I expected Tyson Fury to dominate this fight. I expected him to win. I expected him to win by knockout too, man, because he's a big man, almost 7 feet tall, a lot of power in his hands.
It's crazy.
The size difference was, man, it was off the charts.
Right.
And then when he landed that uppercut, and then he went down, and then Dylan White tried to get up, he tried to continue, man, but as soon as he stumbled, the referee was like, okay, that's enough, man. The referee had to save him.
Yeah.
So, and it was a spectacle to watch. It was a good fight. And Tyson Fury, man, he's proven to be probably the best heavyweight in the world right now. You could say he's basically undefeated because he hasn't lost. He only has a draw against Deontay Wilder. So, yeah, man.
Now we mentioned it. His massive reach and height advantage proved to be the difference on Saturday. Every time White tried to close the distance, he was met with a strong jab or ended up in a clutch situation, and with the much heavier Fury. You know that it took a toll on him for sure. The smaller shots throughout the bout took a toll on White, who suffered a cut above his eye on an accidental headbutt in the 4th round until the devastating final shot.
That uppercut.
The uppercut just got him, man. What was interesting was after the fight, after the fight, Fury brought Francis Ngannou. That's right, UFC's current heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, into the ring, and I guess they said they were going to make a hybrid boxing fight with smaller gloves. I don't know. There's going to be a fight between these two champions, Ricky. When you first seen this, what was your reaction?
Well, I mean, so much for his retirement, right? Tyson Fury.
Right.
So he's been claiming, oh, this is my last fight. I'm happy. I'm going to ride off into the sunset or whatever. And then as soon as the fight was over, he basically just backtracked on his retirement and said, you know what, I want to fight this man right here. And yeah, I mean, that's exciting, man. It excited me to see that this could be a possibility. And I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a hybrid type of fight. If this fight even happens, I fully expect to be a full boxing fight. I don't think it's.
They said it was going to be and they both said there was going to be a hybrid boxing fight. So what they're going to do?
Yeah,
they're going to use UFC style gloves, and it's a boxing fight. That's crazy. I don't know what Tyson Fury is thinking. I'm not saying that he's getting himself into a world of trouble, but these are way different type of gloves, man. These are gloves that can hurt you.
Yeah,
a lot more than the gloves you're used to. You're used to using in the boxing ring.
But they didn't mention about any other like MMA style type, right? Just a straight boxing with.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned too much MMA. I'd be, if that's the case, to just make an MMA fight. But no, it's going to be. I think the only difference of this fight is it's going to be a boxing fight, just with a lot smaller gloves. So maybe
that pretty much guarantees the fight's going to end pretty early.
Dude, absolutely, and I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it even on both sides. If you're talking just a straight boxing fight, obviously Fury has, the advantage there. But if you use the type of gloves that Francis Ngannou uses in UFC, that's different. The power that guy has, and look at those smaller gloves, man. That's those hurt. I've never been in a boxing ring or an MMA octagon, but I'm just by the looks of it, it looks like those smaller gloves hurt a lot more than those actually.
I own a pair of those gloves. All you gotta do is just put one on, and then all you gotta do is just tap yourself in the chin, and you can feel your brain rattle a little bit just by tapping your chin with those gloves, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Seriously, I mean those lethal gloves.
That fight, it seems like it's gonna happen, Rick, and if it does, are you interested? And who wins it? Who do you think takes the fight?
Definitely interested. Definitely interested in this fight, man. I mean, I'm not convinced that Tyson Fury is done at all.
Right.
So if this happens, man, and who wins, I got to give it to Tyson Fury. Especially if it's a boxing fight. Tyson Fury takes the win on this one.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Bigger dude, longer reach, possibly has more power than Ngannou.
Probably.
For all we know. Yeah, so I got to go with Tyson on this one, man.
It'd be an interesting fight. I think Ngannou will be the quicker of the two, as you said, but Tyson is bigger. The guy's a mammoth.
Yeah, he's gonna smother you. He's gonna be right there. He's gonna smother you. He's gonna land those short hooks, and that's all it pretty much takes, man.
At the same time, Ngannou is no scrub, man. We've seen it. Like this isn't MMA, right? So he can't do to Fury what he did to Ciryl Gane and take him down. No, this is going to be a straight up boxing fight. But one hit from Ngannou, I don't care how big you are, big tree fall hard. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go down and you're going to be out.
Exactly. And then not to mention too, man, we're not just Francis Ngannou. There's also Anthony Joshua out there for him. Because I haven't heard anything. I don't know if the fight between him and Alexander Usyk is actually going to happen. If it does, it's going to happen later on this year. So I haven't heard anything like. I remember it was I think it was booked for a rematch, and then it got canceled, and then they're talking about putting it together again. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But if that fight ends up happening, I'm sure he's going to end up waiting for the result of that fight, because a fight between him and Anthony Joshua, everybody's been wanting to see that fight, especially the UK fans, and that's a spectacle right there in itself.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not convinced that Tyson Fury is done. He has at least two big money fights.
Why come out and say that he's going to retire after this fight? Is he? Maybe he's. I don't know. Maybe he's just bored. Maybe he's just waiting for the next fight. You know what I mean?
What I think is, and I think he's genius for this one. If he's gonna if he's saying that he's retiring, right?
Yeah.
I believe he's waiting to see, because he still has to wait on Francis Ngannou. Ngannou had that knee surgery he has to recover from, and then plus his UFC contract, which is up at the end of the year.
Yep.
So either way, he has to wait for him. With Anthony Joshua, if they are going to go through with that fight between him and Usyk, he has to wait on that result. I think he's waiting to see if Joshua actually wins that fight. And if he wins it, the interest to see those two guys fight skyrockets even more than what it already is. And then the ball's in his court as far as Tyson Fury. He could say, okay, you guys want me to fight him? You want me to come out of retirement? I want X amount of dollars, and I'll come out of retirement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's I think if he's doing that, he's genius. He's trying to get drum up some more interest and more money to lure him out of retirement to fight Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Francis Ngannou, because he still has a way for him. So depending on what Ngannou does at the end of the year, man, when his when his contract is up, is he going to resign with the UFC? Is he going to let it run out? If he lets it run out, it's easier for him to negotiate a fight with Fury. And then he could possibly sign with Bellator, because he has said he wants to do both. He wants to fight MMA and boxing.
Yeah.
And Bellator will give it to him.
Oh hell yeah! They'll just to take him away from the UFC, they'll definitely give it to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
sure.
You want the Bucks? Go ahead. All right, come on.
And then Bellator already has that relationship with Showtime.
Yep.
So I mean, it's just going to be easy transition if that happens.
Can Joshua be the man to finally give Fury his first loss?
I don't see it.
No.
I don't see it. No. It'll be a spectacle if the two actually end up fighting, and that's all it's going to be. But the result for me stays the same. I see Fury winning that fight. I don't think I see anybody beating Tyson Fury. I think he's going to retire undefeated.
Wow. He's already one of the greatest heavyweight boxers to ever, I guess, lace him up. So yeah. If that were the case, man, he would definitely go down in history as the greatest heavyweight championship boxer, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. It should be interesting fight, good fight. I'm interested to see what happens in that hybrid boxing fight when it happens. But you said it perfectly. It's not gonna happen anytime soon. Ngannou just came out of surgery, and then you have to see what's going on with his UFC contract and getting into that. Ricky, would UFC just let him leave, let him walk? I mean, he's the champion, right? Like, how does that work if you're Dana White and your heavyweight champion just leaves? And like I get it. If you're Dana White, you have heavyweights aplenty, right? You have guys there. Tuivasa, John Jones, Ciryl Gane, Lewis,
Stipe Miocic, who's still going to come back.
Stipe Miocic is still coming back. Who's the guy who just won the other?
Curtis Blades, Tom Aspinall.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you right. I forgot about Aspinall.
Yeah. You got Tom Aspinall. He's on the up and up.
Right, exactly. I'm like, dude, you have heavyweights aplenty there in UFC. What do you do if you're Dana White then? Do you just
I think right now he's playing the game. I think Dana White right now is just waiting for the time to come closer. I think, and then I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't see why he can't give Francis what he wants. I mean, obviously Francis wants more money and he wants to do boxing. If he gets into boxing, that's also, the UFC will get, a pay. They'll get into the negotiations with the boxing promoters and everything. So they'll get their share. They'll get their cut.
Yeah, it's it's one of your fighters, venturing out. Like of course, that's exposure for the UFC.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's what you want to hear. Hey, UFC champion Francis Ngannou fights, heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. Like, why wouldn't you want that if you're Dana White in the UFC? That's great.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think he's just stalling. I think that's what they're doing. They're waiting for the deadline to get closer, and then they'll probably offer him, probably not exactly what he wants, but somewhere close to it, where they meet somewhere in the middle and try to lure Ngannou into a new contract, and then at the same time give him what he wants or something close to it. But as of right now, I mean, unless there is serious negotiations going on between them right now, I mean, the way I feel right now, I think Ngannou's just waiting for his contract to run out.
Yeah.
And when it does, he doesn't have to worry about a thing. He can negotiate with Tyson Fury's with his people and try to negotiate a fight between them. And he's gonna have offers from Bellator, from One Championship, from the PFL, whatever it is. So, and Bellator is I think is the front runner to land him if he doesn't sign with the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely. All these forbidden doors possibly being open for Mr. Francis Ngannou, Ricky. And speaking of forbidden doors, getting into the wrestling world, AEW has a pay-per-view June 26th here in Chicago, Illinois, with the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, with AEW going head-to-head with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. We knew, they had a successful relationship, but it's slated, man. Like I said, here in Chicago, Sunday, June 26th. The landmark wrestling event was announced on Wednesday on Dynamite when AEW President Tony Khan and New Japan Pro Wrestling President Takami Onbari appeared together on stage to announce it. The pair were about to, and right before they announced it, they were interrupted by Adam Cole, baby. But hey, Jay White, Adam Cole, what do you think?
Oh, that'd be good, man. That would be a good match between those two. And then this whole car, man. I mean, they love coming back to Chicago. That's for sure. Oh, they love Chicago. They love Chicago. So, and that's good for us because we're right there, man. We'll be able to, if we want to, whenever we want to go see a live event, we can always go. Yeah. And so, yeah, this definitely caters to the hardcore fans, especially those huge fans of New Japan Wrestling. I myself is sort of a casual. I know enough of it, and I know that they put on some rare. I mean, they probably put on some of the best matches in wrestling as far as New Japan. What they do over there.
They put on amazing matches over there in Japan, and the one thing about AEW, and I'll give AEW their pay-per-views are hands down one of the best pay-per-views I've ever been to. The matches that these guys put on are crazy. So you pair that up with the amazing, what's it called? The strong style offense. I mean, strong style.
Japanese strong style. Yep.
That the Japanese, the new Japan Pro Wrestling does. It's gonna be crazy, absolutely nuts. Here in Chicago, June 26th. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm down, man. And going back to the United Center. I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, the United Center was home to one of AEW's biggest events of all time, the First Dance, where CM Punk made his return to wrestling after a 7-year hiatus. So yeah, man,
no matches have been announced yet, but I guarantee it's gonna sell out, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You can expect the unexpected during this extraordinary one of a kind pay-per-views between these two incredible companies for sure. But yeah, I mean, WWE wanted to open up a forbidden door with New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it just never fizzled through. But here you have AEW doing it, and I mean, hey, kudos to them, man. This should be a great event for sure. Have you been keeping up with any of the promotions, Ricky, at WWE and AEW?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Wait, really? So which one?
What was that?
Which one?
You mentioned AEW and WWE, right?
Yeah, I said, have you been keeping up with the promotions, like what they've been doing?
Yeah, just I mean, not as much, but I've been keeping up with what AEW's been doing, as far as like this partnership with New Japan, and then with WWE. I mean, I've only seen what as far as what Randy Orton and what they're celebrating 20 years of Randy Orton coming in, so that's pretty much all I've been paying attention to as far as wrestling.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about the Randy Orton and 20 years. We're gonna have Eric from the JCA Sports Podcast jump on with us. We'll talk some Randy Orton. We'll talk some WWE. Before we do that, I mean, here we are, AEW, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't been watching AEW. It's shifting for me, right? At first, I was watching a lot of AEW and not watching WWE enough because I didn't like the content that was going on. Now it's shifted. Now I find myself watching more WWE and less AEW. I don't know what happened, but like since WrestleMania, a complete 180. Obviously AEW has great talent, all the great talent in the world. Dynamite tonight, they have Sammy Guevara facing Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship in a ladder match. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not watching it live. Obviously, we're doing the show, but I'm gonna watch it for sure. And I'm in hopes that they bring me back on as a fan, right? But there's just something about AEW that just hasn't been grasped. Why is that? What is it with these guys right now?
It could be. I mean, it just could be fatigue. You know what I mean? Like eventually, fatigue settles in where you're watching, and then nothing's really hooking you in anymore to watch. So that's why Tony Khan has to keep constantly, make announcements, make surprises and stuff like that. This New Japan announcement was to try to cater to the hardcore fans and try to bring some of them back a little bit, get them excited about something, but that's pretty much it. I mean, the one thing I'm really liking about AEW is the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that's what it's called. That's with William Regal, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and they just added Wheeler Yuta into the group. And I think that's one of the best things going on with AEW right now. You know,
I mean, you got two of the best wrestlers just in wrestling period right now, tag teaming with Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, and then you add William Regal to the mix. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's hard not to love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yuta is an amazing talent as well, but
yeah. And that's the reason why they got him there, because they're trying to elevate the new guys. They're trying to give them the rub. Yep. You know, Jericho has a little group again. I think the only one that stands out in his new group is what the hell's his name? Daniel Garcia, because he started a new group with he still has Jake Hager with them, and he has these other guys. I think they were called 2.0, and then Daniel Garcia. Yep, so Jericho's So Jericho is doing the same thing for Daniel Garcia like he did for Sammy Guevara.
Yep.
You know, we see how Sammy Guevara has developed, and he's doing.
It's a good point. It's a good point. It's a really good point. They're called the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah, I mean the name is dumb, but you get why he's doing it. You know, I think he's elevating the younger, you know, those three younger guys. But I see more potential in Garcia than I do the other two guys for sure.
That's what he does, man. That's what he does best. You mentioned it perfectly. He did it for Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara really came into his own when they were in the what was it called? The group with
the inner circle.
With the inner circle, really came into his own. And now look at him. He's a TNT champion, just killing it week in and week out. That guy is a machine, man. Like every time you see Sammy Guevara, he's defending his championship, but he's doing it in some crazy ass matches. Ladder match, no disqualification, you name it. This guy's just literally putting his body in, like, you know, in harm's way week in, week out. But he's doing it. He's very entertaining. But you're right. Daniel Garcia could be that next guy for sure.
And then we had we had an excellent. I like the match between Samoa Joe and Minoru Suzuki. They had a chop fest of a match. That's what you expect to see from Samoa Joe, man. Just hard hitting grit style, and then same thing with Minoru Suzuki, you know, who's been part of New Japan. I'm pretty sure I'm expecting him to be at that New Japan show as well with AEW as far as Minoru Suzuki. You know, Okada, also from New Japan. We can probably see him in there, possibly with CM Punk or even Bryan Danielson.
True.
So I mean, a lot of good talent coming in.
You're reeling me back in. You're reeling me back in. Like I said, I stepped away from AEW. I think you're right. Fatigue is what set in for me a little bit, but you're reeling me back in. I'm going to watch tonight. I'm going to see what's going on. Maybe it happened with NXT. I was watching NXT and AEW were the two things the two main shows I was like completely hooked on. I kind of stepped away from both out of fatigue.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm as far as WWE, man. I'm only interested in their pay-per-views. I still cannot sit through Monday Night Raw. I mean, I just can't do it. SmackDown the same too, man.
Cody Rhodes brings attention for me. Not only him, but the thing they have going with formerly known as Elias, now Ezekiel, and Kevin Owens is hilarious. I love it.
I gotta admit, that's funny.
The
Ezekiel Elias shit, man. I mean,
it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
All they did was just shave Elias's beard, and then he's pretending to be someone else. I mean, I got it. Yeah, but it's the same guy. We all know it's the same. Kevin Owens ain't crazy, man. He's not crazy.
They're so good. It's really, really good. It's really
good. Yeah. At first, I thought it was stupid, but then it kind of got me like, okay, this is a little entertaining. I gotta admit.
Yeah, it's really funny. Elias, Ezekiel, whatever his name is, he's a character for sure. Let's talk about Randy Orton, right? There's no better way to end the show with a legend, formerly known as a legend killer, and Randy Orton. Debuted in 2002. We're here in 2022. The guy's still going strong, and he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys who really haven't missed a period of time throughout his 20-year career. You know, he got injured a few times, but rarely. This guy stays healthy, in shape. It's like he still looks like he could go for another 20 years. The guy is.
He does,
and no one gets tired of him.
No, he's always. I mean, I don't know if he's always reinventing himself. Not like how Jericho usually does, but it's like you know, you put him in with some. We just talked about him. I think, you know, me, you, and Eric, we talked about him at WrestleMania. How successful the RK Bro is with, you know, with him and Matt Riddle, and we talked about like how, you know, whoever they put him with, whether a tag team or a faction or anything like that, like he's always successful in those situations. Like he always comes out on top. He's always interesting to watch. You know, he was never the top. I mean, he's definitely one of the top guys, but he was never the guy.
Right.
But it didn't matter because he was always there, and he has a lot of memorable moments too.
Yeah, a lot of memorable moments. Just to get off topic, real quick recap: beloved Chicago Bulls have officially been eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks, 116-100 in a Game 5 blowout. Milwaukee now advances to face the Boston Celtics Sunday, round 2.
DeRozan didn't play in his game, did he?
He did. He played. Levine didn't play.
It was Levine. Oh, it was Levine. It was Levine that didn't play.
Levine, Caruso did not play in this game. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, Bulls are out. You know, a successful year, I think, nonetheless. But, you know, the way they went out was very tainted because, like, if you look at the last, like, 5 home games, you know, not including the playoffs, they've been blown out. Then you include the playoffs, blown out. Crazy. Like, it's not the way you want to go if you're a Chicago Bulls fan.
No, not at all. But, hey, you know what? Nobody expected them to get this far, right?
No, you know what? Again, the first year with this team assembled, you know, the expectation, at least for me, was for them to get to the playoffs. So they met my expectations. But then after they had a really good, you know, first season, like first half of the season, I was like, this team can win it all. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I was starting to believe that they could have, you know what I mean? Like when they were doing so good. But, you know, it's just like how, you know, as Chicago fans, you know what I mean? We kind of expect it sometimes. Like we get our hopes up pretty high and then it just crumbles.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll see what happens next year, man.
I know I'm a Bears fan. I know how that feels. Definitely know how it feels. But going back to Randy Orton, Ricky, as you mentioned, the guy just you never get tired of this guy. He has the same move that out of nowhere RKO still gets over. Doesn't matter where you put him in. You can put him with Matt Riddle, RK Bro, he's over. Put him with the Wyatt family, he's over. I mean,
yeah.
The guy is amazing. Edge. Look at all the people he teamed up with. It doesn't really matter. You put him in single competition.
Evolution, man. I can't forget about Evolution.
Evolution, man. I mean,
one of the greatest factions, I think, man.
Absolutely. Him, Triple H, Ric Flair, Dave Bautista. You talk about champions galore. That was probably one of the most successful factions of all time. What has been your favorite Randy Orton moment?
I have a couple. I think as far as like as a match, I think the best match I seen him in was against Cactus Jack, Backlash 2004. It was a hardcore match or an Extreme Rules match, whatever they call it now. But I think that match was that was what cemented him to me as like kind of like a, you know, like a top guy or like one of those top guys. And because Cactus Jack or Mick Foley, man, he has that knack for making guys look good. Hey, Eric, what's going on, man?
Hi, guys.
Yes, definitely.
What's going on?
Hey, we were just talking about the now legend, former legend killer, and Randy Orton.
But yeah, that match.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 20 years, man. But yeah, that match with Mick Foley, man, it was one of the best matches I've seen Randy Orton in. And another one that I remember too was when he faced the Undertaker at WrestleMania when he was the Legend Killer. This is when Undertaker still had his winning streak going at WrestleMania, and you know, at the time I wasn't a wrestling insider, I wasn't looking inside, but I was convinced that Randy Orton was probably gonna, you know, had a chance of beating the Undertaker, especially when
they played it so well. Like there were so many moments you really I believe you 100% that when you're like there's no way like they're gonna give this guy that streak. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I still remember that when he countered the chokeslam into an RKO and I thought it was over, I'm like, holy shit, you got to be kidding me! I thought he was gonna beat the Undertaker that night.
Looking back, they should have done it. I think I would have preferred that over the Brock Lesnar. But you know, that's just me.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think Randy Orton was the guy to do it, but it had me convinced at the time. At the time, it did. You know, but yeah, just and then the RKO I think the RKO is the best finisher in wrestling ever.
Dude, it's really good. Like the way he does it now, doesn't matter where you're at. You could be in a top turnbuckle, you could be up in the air, you could be down low, you could be in the middle. Who cares? He'll catch you, and it's over with. We bring in Eric from the JCA Sports Podcast, EAFP Podcast, your mama's favorite podcast. You name it. That man is in every podcast available.
Yeah, Jack of all trades, master of none. That's me, all right.
Yeah, jack of all trades. He wears many hats. Yep.
many hats. Right now, he's going to put his wrestling on hat with us, talking about Randy Orton, his 20-year career. Eric, started in 2002, 2022. I was just telling Ricky, this guy still looks like he can go for another 20 years.
Yeah, for real, man. He looks good for his age. The fact that you say it's 20 years is just mind-boggling. I didn't even know it was 20 years. It just felt like the dude just came out literally like 10 years ago. Maybe this is just the way how the dude looks. He still looks young. Yeah, he still looks ripped. He takes care of his body pretty well. And yeah, man, it looked like he could go for another 10, 15 years, the way he's going and the way how WWE works, it fits right in.
Yeah, definitely fits right in. Eric, what's your favorite Randy Orton moment or match or what can you say about what can you say about Randy Orton?
So with Randy Orton, I think probably is the best character that WWE has put out in the way. And what I'm saying is he could do a little bit of a lot. What he's doing now with doing with RK Bro, obviously almost anybody that you put him with Edge. What was the group that he was in with Triple H and
Evolution.
God, you go on and on and on, and like Randy Orton's character just almost perfectly fits in almost every category, and it will just be perfect. It just the way he entertains people, his matches, like Rick said, maybe the best finisher in all of pro wrestling. I don't know, man. Something about, and you're right. It evolved to where you could do it off the turnbuckle, probably off the jumbotron, the tables, ladders, chairs, maybe even off the stage. It's just his finisher is probably like the best finisher overall, to where like it could be done anywhere. And
I remember it became a meme too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it was
RKO out of nowhere.
You're like, oh no, and then like
watch out.
That's the one. So man, yeah. Look, 20 years is crazy. 20 years is amazing. I mean, that's a career that a lot of wrestlers kind of don't have nowadays. And he just came out. He came into the perfect time where it was the kind of like in between the Attitude Era, kind of towards the tail end, to the beginning of this new era, and then he's still transitioning into.
It was from the Attitude Era to the Ruthless Aggression Era.
There you go, that's the one. So he just fit perfectly in almost everything, and the dude didn't really have to do a lot other than just have a shitload of tattoos.
Yeah.
No, seriously, and it's crazy because Ricky were just saying 20 years, and he's never really missed a beat. The guy that never really missed due to injury. He always takes care of himself. That's
think about it.
That's rare.
Think about it too. When he came in with John Cena, with Brock Lesnar, with Dave Bautista.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They all came to the WWE around the same time, and he's basically the only one that's there. Mm-hmm. Brock comes whenever he wants. Cena and Batista are in Hollywood now, and he's been the constant presence there ever since, man. He's the only one of the four.
Yeah,
that's still full time and in great shape, and like you said, he's not injury prone.
No, not at all.
I like the story they're doing now with him and Roman Reigns. He's the next contender for Roman Reigns championships, I guess. Championships now.
Yeah.
He's the next contender for it, and I mean, rightfully so. The guy's amazing. I think they're gonna have a good feud for a little bit. Obviously, we know where it's gonna go, but if you want to give Roman Reigns up there, that's he's already up there, right? But if you want to give him, if you want to continue to give him the rub, he has to face absolutely everybody. Someone like Randy Orton will definitely help build this case for sure.
I think that'll happen too. I think eventually they're gonna put that match against those guys.
It's confirmed. I think it's Hell in a Cell. That's the next pay-per-view. Or Backlash.
Oh, really?
Backlash? I think it's Backlash. But they're gonna. Yeah, that's the next. Yeah, that's the next feud. Randy Orton and Roman Reigns. So
it's not bad. I mean, they could again both entertainers, both wrestlers can give you a good show, and it will be a quite entertaining one. And this one, it can actually be a decent wrestling match.
Absolutely,
and a main event too.
Speaking of good shows, we had a good show today. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Eric, for hopping on. We talked UFC, we talked Bellator, we talked Tyson Fury, we talked AEW, The Forbidden Door, we talked WWE and Randy Orton. So yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday for sure. We'll review the UFC Fight Night with Font versus Vera. We'll talk more wrestling, more boxing, more MMA. And of course, stay tuned because up next is the JCA Sports Podcast with Eric and myself. The Chicago Bulls are done. The season is over.
And it took a long time. It took 3 days, a long time. that and much more on the JCA Sports Podcast, guys.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Ricky, anything you want to say before we end the show?
Thanks everybody for tuning in, and it's great to be back. And look forward to more episodes, man.
Yep, more episodes soon. We will be here again next Wednesday. For Ricky, for Eric, I'm Jose. Stay tuned. JCA Sports Podcast is next.